Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe, here in this great hall of justice, are the most powerful forces of good ever assembled. Dedicated to truth, justice, and peace for all mankind.
Welcome everybody back to Spinnerack, and we're talking about our great time we had over at the Big Apple Con. Once again, they threw a fantastic show. People showed up. I gotta say I was a little scared at the beginning, but let me not say everything here. I got PD on the line. PD! What did you think about it?
Hey, everybody.
What did you think about Big Apple Con this year?
Well, it wasn't as packed as last year, which I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, they had Jim Lee on this year. They didn't have Jim Lee or
Frank Miller.
Frank Miller and stuff, but they promised next year is going to be bigger and it's going to be they're going to get more names. So I think that's what happened. You know?
Yeah, I mean it was okay. Con. It's funny because they had the celebrities they had there, which was Cheryl Finn. They had Timac. They had the actor from his last name is Cruz from
Wilson Cruz. Wilson Cruz.
Wilson Cruz from Star Trek Discovery, and they had one of the Dermalages there. So I mean, it was there was stuff going on for you to check out, but then it just wasn't like a huge thing. It wasn't like it wasn't like you couldn't walk in. You had to wait online or something like that, like last year. So
yeah, well, I mean that's true. You had that issue. Last year there was definitely big marquee names. This year not quite the same. But I always say when I go to these cons, I meet people that we've met before and meet new people, and particularly the cosplayers are always cool. The comic book retailers, they're always trying to sell their wares. Some of them have interesting stuff, which you should go out and get if you can. But you also see some new things, I mean, Urban Action Showcase isn't new, but Urban Action Showcase, those guys show up at many of the cons, and always a big shout out to those guys because they do a great job. They have a showcase every year over at the AMC here in New York, and I think it's sponsored by HBO, so you should check those guys out. I think they're having their showcase this year in November, and you get a lot of stuntmen and action heroes and people who are acting in the business to see them. And then you also have, didn't you hook up with someone who was doing a TV show, a web series on?
I didn't hook up with the person.
Not hook up, but you met. Sorry, my bad.
Yes.
Well, yeah, so I mean, we meet a lot of different people and a lot of things. And one of the great things I like about cons is that you can actually go out and meet stars from shows that you've seen and liked in the past or even currently. And the same thing also go with artists. If you like a particular artist, you follow them, or a particular property like Batman or something. There's usually someone who's been writing or inking or in that vein, and it's something to go out and get. I mean, if our man Cal was here, he would tell you the same thing, that this is one of the reasons people go out there, because you get to press the flesh, and it's hard in other venues to do that. I mean, it's hard to meet these. You can't talk about the level of stars, but in these conventions, it's regular for people to meet the people who are their favorites and shows, right?
Well, we got to meet Anasis Almonte, who is Alex Two Guns. That's a web series at twogunshero.com. That's 2GUNSHERO.com.
Right.
We met her and Anasis, and she, took a picture with us, which was cool, and talked to us about her web series and her, action stuff that she's been doing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing too. If you have an idea from a comic book to a series or a show, come out there. I mean, there's a huge fan base out there that you can help to connect and to help to move your property going forward. I mean, that's something that we're trying to develop ourselves, our own series that hopefully one of these days will finally come out and you guys will be able to see it. And hopefully when we go to the cons, you guys will help to support us too,
Yeah.
So
There's
yeah,
also Mike Royer was there, who was from Jack Kirby fame, who inked a lot of Kirby classic DC work, and there's also some classic like Ramona Fradon and Joe Aguilera, who are the classic Silver Age artists.
right.
They were out there, so it's,
Right,
it
but
was a decent con.
But you also had up and coming artists like Crease, whose name, you could find him on Instagram and I think Deviant Art. I mean, he's just one of many. We've met him in other cons too, and his drawings are off the chain. I mean, he's just one amongst many that you should check out. So look, I say go out as much as you can, check these things out, support them. Like I said, the only thing closer I think to meeting artists or creators, and like again, I'm a strong supporter of paying for creators, because I mean, if we don't pay for what they do, they're not going to be able to do it, right? If you want to become a creator, you want to become a writer, you want to become an artist, you want to be a photographer, if you put out your work, yeah, you may put it out for free for once, but eventually you have to get paid, and if people don't support you, you won't. And that's why I believe that, we need to go out there and support those as best as we can. You can't support everybody, but you can support who you like the most.
Well, it's people that are trying, that are putting their money in to get, locations to sit and show their product. And even if, at times you can look and say, well, this is crude in comparison to Marvel stuff, then you see the idea, you see the thing. Once you put some interest behind it, you can always grow into something bigger. You don't get the Walking Dead until you start to get Robert Kirkman doing all these smaller projects that led up to this point. So it's always good to be around, creators at the beginning.
Exactly. Because, I mean, it takes, before anybody's a success, they were a failure before all that, before they came up. It took a series of many successes and failures for them to get to the point where they were actually took off, So, I mean, to me, this is one of our missions in Spinner is to show those out there that are doing well also. I mean, hopefully this year we'll be delving more into it, but we want to also profile and create all types of creators, because we want to support those who out there taking a risk. I mean, that's another thing too. Going out there taking a risk, trying new things, because one day it could be you whose art is being sold there, or it could be your script or your television show or your production that gets put up. So that's what I'm saying. You okay, you okay, Petey?
Sorry, I had a fall.
and you can't get up.
Big new project. I'm making a new project. It's a very highly technological thing. I'm feeding the cats. I mean, no, it's highly technological. What's going on? So, it's the thing is that you have people trying. You have comic book sellers. They've got a lot of discounts for comics that are out there. So, and the comics are in a lot better condition than when you go to a regular comic book store. So
that is true. That is true. And even talking to people coming to the cons about comic books, that's a great thing too, where people give you their opinions about it. Some of them are extremely heated, some of them are off the frigging wall, but you get people who actually read. And that's one thing you got to say. Most comic book people who are reading comics, they're semi-literate. Not semi, they're literate. Whereas, some people will never read a damn thing. You're not sure where they're getting their ideas from or whatever. But read comics, support comics as best as you can. Okay? Spin rack. Petey. Spin rack out.
Spin rack out.
Yo, what the hell happened to you, bro?
Damn.